Mike Tomlin released a statement a few moments ago, and that statement reads, quote, Ben Roethlisberger had an MRI on his right elbow Sunday evening. It was determined by the Steelers medical team that surgery will be required. We expect the surgery will be scheduled for this week. He will be placed on our reserve injured list and is out for the season. End quote. Ben Roethlisberger out for the season. And again, when that happened on the field and he grabbed at his elbow, you knew it was bad. You were hoping it was not that bad, but it is. So he will miss the rest of the season. They're 0-2. Listen, we know what the odds are, and we know what the stats say, and we know what the numbers say when a team starts 0-2. So go ahead and look at those numbers, and then look at the numbers and tell me what they say when your team starts 0-2 and your Hall of Fame quarterback goes down and you lose him for the rest of the season. I don't want to say that the Steelers season is over, but the Steelers season is over. I know that Mason Rudolph nearly led them to a comeback win yesterday. I know he's got potential. We had him here in studio before the draft. I love the guy. But this is not what the Steelers imagined when Le'Veon Bell was allowed to leave. This is not what they imagined when they traded Antonio Brown. At that point, they were turning the team over to Ben Roethlisberger. And that didn't even last 2 games. Again, he was grabbing at that elbow after attempting a pass in the second quarter, and now he is done for the season, out for the year, and with surgery. And given that we're talking about a guy who is now 37 and has taken a ton of hits, and the surgery is on his throwing elbow, there are going to be serious questions about his future. Legitimate questions about his future and their future. That is an absolutely brutal, brutal blow for the Steelers. Nobody wants to jump to conclusions after only 2 games, but when you get the news that Ben Roethlisberger is done for the season, Pittsburgh is 0-2, Trevor, is there any doubt in your mind that the Steelers are officially done for the season?
Unless they can somehow coax Brett Favre out of retirement, yeah, you can kiss the baby on that one. And that's the worst thing, right? When this happens in week 2, it's kind of like, how do you sell tickets for the next 6 home, like the next 7 home games? How do you drive any excitement with Mason Rudolph? No disrespect to my homeboy Mason, but how do you live with yourself? Like, do you become the Dolphins and say, let's just throw caution to the wind and just throw one of the offensive linemen out there, see if he can throw? I don't know how you motivate that sinking ship. Nobody's fault, right? But still, man, I've been on one of those teams before. That's hard slogging there. That's like show up, get your paycheck, don't be late to work.
Trevor Price joining us. You mentioned hard slogging and what's it like. It can really apply to Miami, which I'll get to in a minute. But when you look at Ben, Trevor, he's 37 now. He will be coming off a season-ending surgery to his throwing elbow. Then what does his future look like? In other words, is it as simple as have the surgery, miss the year, come back good as new? Or at this age, after all those hits, is this a totally different deal?
Somebody was talking to me today about tackling Ben Roethlisberger in my office. And I was like, look, I remember when Big Ben was big. Now he's not all that big. I remember he used to put on his flap jacket, his shoulder, his rib cage protector, and he looked like a sumo wrestler. He doesn't look quite as big now, and I think that's part of it. If you're going to be Big Ben and throw defensive linemen off of you and shrug your shoulders, he needs to gain some weight. And I hate saying that about quarterbacks, but it is a fact. He looks thin, right? But that's kind of what you have to do as you get older in the NFL. You have to lose some weight to keep the weight off, just make it through the season. But if you're taking the beating that this dude takes, even throwing the ball the way he does, you need some baggage behind you, my man. You can't look like this. You look like a bad-built tight end rather than a quarterback, right? So I think his age is less of a thing than his body is. Because if you're going to do that, if you're going to try to be that quarterback you've always been, you can't do it at 172 pounds.
Dude, he does not weigh 172 pounds, Trevor.
You can't do it at 175 pounds.